Bonnie Blue, the porn star famous for betting 1,000 men in one day, faces 15 years jail.
OnlyFans star Bonnie Blue is in some serious trouble, but I just can't bring myself to feel bad for her. We've got to talk about Bonnie Blue. And if you don't know who that is, then bless your soul. You're not nearly as online as me and not as corrupted by the modern world. But Bonnie Blue is one of the most well-known, or I guess you could say infamous, OnlyFans content creators, who of course makes adult content. And she is known because she has grown her following, and I don't know if she's still on OnlyFans, but at least at one point she was. Anyway, she's built up this massive audience of people who subscribe to her adult content by doing outlandish stunts. Like, for example, trying to set records for how many men she can engage with in a certain time period, and then like going to special events called schoolies to pursue barely legals and other such stuff that is just deeply unpleasant to observe. But she's now in legal trouble with this story that's just captivated the internet's attention because she went to Bali in Indonesia and decided to play stupid games and is now winning stupid prizes. Let's watch some reporting from Sky News Australia about what's going down.
Bonnie Blue, the porn star famous for betting 1,000 men in one day, faces 15 years jail after being arrested in Bali. She arrived on the Indonesian island at the start of schoolies and made no attempt to hide her intentions.
Those that are going to schoolies and to those that are barely legal, cannot wait to meet you. And I'm in Bali, so you know exactly what that means.
She has since been arrested along with 17 men while allegedly filming content. Now, as you can see, the men, 15 of whom were Australian, weren't too keen to show their faces. I can't imagine why. It's been reported that Bonnie Blue may be prosecuted for allegedly breaching Indonesia's morality laws. And if found guilty, she faces a fine of more than $500,000 and a prison sentence long enough to make her rethink her career choices. Then again, maybe not.
So if I had my way, I would like criminalise most of what you do, and you wouldn't have all this money, right? So obviously on a personal level,
gangbangs in prison.
Bonnie Blue was banned from Australia last year after inviting barely of age school leavers to have sex with her so she could post the footage online for money. Indonesia, none too impressed, Freya, and why would they be?
Well, I think it's so funny how Westerners go to Bali and they forget that Indonesia is 87% Muslim. And in 2022, they enacted morality laws based around Islamic values that ban even things like sleeping with people outside of marriage, cohabitation before marriage, let alone what Bonnie Blue is doing, which is full-scale pornography production. And she's advertising it. So I can see why the Indonesian government was not too happy about that. I think she was completely naive and foolish to think she would be able to do that.
So guys, we're actually only at the tip of the iceberg with this Bonnie Blue story in Bali. It gets even crazier, and some of the specific evidence against her is quite damning, and we're going to go over all of it after this. Finally, a win for sanity in the trans debate.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
The Olympic Committee just took a big step forward towards restoring fairness in women's sports, but if you only read partisan media on the left or the right, you'd really struggle to figure out what actually happened. But using Ground News, an amazing service I've used for years to help prepare this show, it's easy to sort through the noise because it's an app and website that gathers news from sources all around the world so that you can see every angle of how a story is being reported and make up your own mind. It also tells you everything you need to know about a source's bias, factuality, and ownership. In left-wing media, for example, Metro Weekly's headline reads, Olympics prepare to ban trans women from competition. Of course, trans women aren't being banned from the Olympics. They just have to compete according to their biology, not their identity. Meanwhile, in right-wing media, Trending Politics' headline is, Olympic Committee drops hammer on transgenders. That's not exactly an unbiased report. Thankfully, using Ground News, you can get a neutral summary of the story, see how both sides are framing it, see who's covering it and who isn't, and most importantly, use your critical thinking skills to make up your own mind. I knew it was bad, but using Ground News has really helped me break through media bias to bring you a fair show. You can get the same plan that I use, which is the Vantage subscription, if you sign up through my link, ground.news/Brad, or scan the QR code on screen to get 40% off unlimited access. This exclusive discount is available through this link, so act now to break your media bubble and keep your critical thinking skills sharp. Guys, so I dug into this story more, and Bonnie Blue is in some serious legal jeopardy here. The best case scenario for her is that they just deport her, but they have confiscated her passport and they are prosecuting her, and they could also choose to pursue that route instead. And in that case, she might be in serious legal jeopardy because they kind of caught her in the act of doing stuff that is blatantly illegal. At least that's what it seems like from some of this reporting. Newsweek reports, according to local reports, among the items seized during the Bali raid were video production equipment, her notorious blue pickup truck known as the Bang Bus, and several packets of condoms. How delightful that is. And what's important to note there is that she, according to this reporting at least, had video production equipment with her, which is kind of damning evidence because the piece of this that is so controversial or that is going to get her in legal jeopardy is the production of pornography, which is illegal in Bali. They also have laws that criminalize or prohibit consensual sex between non-married people, but I looked into it and those laws are not really enforced against non-residents or against tourists. Those are primarily applied to local residents and domestic people in Bali. So that one, it doesn't necessarily, just her simply hooking up with these people doesn't seem to be the problem. It appears that her likely intent, or maybe she did, I don't know, of filming pornographic content while in a Muslim majority country or region, at least of Indonesia, where that's illegal, could actually end her up in a pretty lengthy prison sentence, possibly. So, more from Newsweek here. Videos shared on Blue's Instagram page prior to the raid show her partying with young tourists celebrating schoolies. Oh my gosh, diabolical. And one video shows a group of men pushing the Bang Bus through a Bali street after it broke down. The Bali Bang Bus has run out of steam, but the Aussie boys haven't, she captioned the post. Guys, I keep thinking about my mother listening to this podcast and how she's going to react to this story. Hope you're proud of me, Mom. This is what my career has come to. Reading about Bonnie Blue's Bang Bus. Oh boy. Okay. Anyway, more from Newsweek here. Indonesia has some of the strictest anti-pornography laws in Southeast Asia. Under the Pornography Act, producing, distributing, or participating in the creation of pornographic material is illegal and punishable by lengthy prison sentences of up to 15 years and substantial fines of up to 6 billion rupiah, which is around $359,000. So we've got all the facts here. She does appear to be, at least in my perception of this case, kind of dead to rights on the actual charges. And I'm of two minds on this story because on one hand, I don't actually believe that any of this should be illegal. I don't support what she does morally or ethically, but I don't believe that consensual sex acts or even production of videos where everyone involved is consenting participant, I don't believe that should be a crime. I certainly don't think somebody should be put behind bars for 15 years for doing it. That seems disproportionate, and I don't really believe in any of that. At the same time, though, I really struggle to have any sympathy for Bonnie Blue because she played stupid games and she won stupid prizes. She surely knew what the laws were in Bali before she went and did this. And yeah, at some point, you're going to have to deal with the consequences of your actions. And if you intentionally go to a place to violate their laws or know about their laws and violate them anyway, even if those laws shouldn't exist or are unjust, and we could talk about that and I might agree with you in the abstract, you're still like not really a victim. right? Because you chose this and you willingly put yourself in this situation. And then you probably just assumed that being famous would get you off the hook. And maybe it still will. Possibly the most likely scenario here is that she just ends up getting deported. And that would be basically like, and then they ban her from coming back to Bali. That would probably be the most appropriate outcome. But if they actually do go out and imprison her over this, well, I do find it funny how she's already spoken about that on the record. And she's like, I'll just have prison group activities then. I don't think she actually means that. I think that's part of her troll persona that she adopts to go viral and get more subscribers and make more money. And I'm sure she's fabulously wealthy. I'm sure she can afford all the fines and then some. But at some point, these influencers, whether it's the OF people or the rage baiters or the trolls, are going to have to find out, right? Because they have effed around so many times and they have inconvenienced and menaced the public in so many ways that at some point, like, yeah, things, even if I don't support them in theory, are going to happen to them and I'm just not going to feel bad. There's only so much sympathy to go around in the world, and people get cancer, people are orphaned, all sorts of horrible things happen to people that they had no control over and they didn't bring about themselves. And so when bad things happen to people who act stupid and act a fool, it's hard to feel that bad for them. I don't know. Am I like a bad guy for this? I really don't think I am. I actually think my reaction here is pretty normal and pretty typical. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you think of the Bonnie Blue situation. I've talked to Clarkson about it, my friend who I filmed the Normal Gaze channel with. Check us out on YouTube if you somehow haven't discovered us with. He is a somewhat ironic, I hope it's ironic, Bonnie Blue fan, and he is just devastated, and he is considering going out and protesting publicly with a Free Bonnie Blue sign, which I think would be incredibly amusing. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think of the Bonnie Blue situation. Oh, what does my journalism career come to? And make sure to subscribe to the like button and all of that.